I am back for this week's video, and this time I'm slightly better prepared. uh, Last week a lot of stuff happened, and in the end, I recorded the video like Sunday evening. I was like, it doesn't need a lot of editing. I mean, it's just me talking. But I had like ambition to still do like quite a lot of cuts to make it go smoothly. But that took way too long, so I just did it pretty roughly. Yeah, I was actually hoping to record yesterday already, Saturday, but I always had excuses to delay it. So there still is some resistance there, and that's why I think it's good to practice every week to get to know my resistances and be like, okay, this is why I'm not recording yet and stuff like that. But hey, at least it's Sunday morning, which is a lot better than Sunday evening. Even when I want to make things simple, tight editing is time consuming. Who knew? So this week I refreshed myself with some of the basics. I went through an editing course. I already watched the first couple of lessons. But I watched them again because I was like, okay, yeah, I need a refresher. And after you've done the editing, it sticks better if you watch it again and know what he's talking about. I mean, I have done all the things already before. It's just that it's been a while and I definitely need to practice. So again, another reason to do these weekly videos. I also looked deeper into J-cuts, which I haven't really done before. A J-cut is like when you let the audio from one scene like overlap a bit with the video of the scene before that. And there are several reasons why one would want to do that instead of just like audio video cut and audio video cut and then mash them together. I wanted to know when you would choose one. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Basically, you should treat video and audio separate. Almost like, I don't know, the most people said you would get a feel for it. But basically, if something visually is not nice on screen, you can cut that. But if the audio is important, you can keep that. So, and then hey, then you naturally have a J-cut. You can also do it just for effect and stuff like that. Yeah, there are many reasons. It's something I will experiment with. Probably this very video even. I also wrapped up playing Cookie Clicker. Now, okay, let me talk about Cookie Clicker because I have some history with it. It's a pretty old game already. I think it's 10 years or more. But basically, I I find it such an interesting game. All there is to it is you have a big cookie. Every time you click it, you get a cookie. And with those cookies, you can buy things that generate more cookies. But it's really deep. I mean, deep as in there's a lot of upgrades. You can go up to, I don't know, septillion cookies. I never reached that. Like, I think I reached like a trillion or something cookies being generated. It's so weird. It's so addicting. And I find this a very interesting, like, case study for, like, motivation because it's so simple. It's like almost the essence of gaming, and it's so easy to be addicted to it. It's just you get a number that gets bigger, and then you use those numbers to get other stuff that automatically generate you more of that number, and then the number grows more rapidly, and it's like, why is this so fun? It's so weird, right? I think it's weird, but I also think it's interesting. Honestly, it's too addicting for me, so I haven't played it in years. But these past Christmas period, it was kind of slow, so I was like, I'm gonna start it again. And I did, and I was like, damn, here we go again. So yeah, it's web browser based, so I was on a different computer, so I started from scratch, but that didn't make it any less fun. And a reason I'm talking about it specifically this week is because this week I checked on this very PC where I played it before, and I made a lot of progress. Like this currency called sugar lumps. that generates in the background that is generated like in real time, and it's like 1 sugar lump a day or something like that. And they're very useful but very rare. Or rare, I mean, they generate very slowly. But since I haven't played it in like 3 years, I generated like 700 of those. It was incredible. So that was kind of fun. So then I was like, okay, like Steam, the gaming platform, is like my main hub for games. And anything I do on that for me is official. Even though that doesn't really make sense, but in my head it's like Steam is official. And so I got Cookie Clicker on Steam and I installed it. I reached the point where you generate sugar lumps and I stopped there. And now I'm like, okay, now my head is satisfied because it knows it's generating stuff in the background and I don't need to touch it anymore. And now I can retire it. Isn't that funny? I think it's funny. I planned like a way to stop playing by getting it on Steam, generating sugar lumps, and now I'm like, okay, now it's passively generating cookies or stuff for me, so I don't need to look at it ever again. Speaking of simple game design, I also came across nodograms or like Picross. I'm not sure what it's called. The Wikipedia page says nonogram, but I think my friends called it Picross. So I'm not sure what the official name is, but anyway, it is kind of like a Sudoku, but slightly different. Instead of numbers, it's just like check a box or don't check a box. And again, it's so simple, but it's really, really fun actually. And I think, again, this is such a good case study for studying motivation, I find. Like, honestly, for me, I don't think there is a difference between games and real life motivation. They all are the same. And that's why I think it's so interesting to look at those and be like, okay, why am I motivated to do this? And the simpler the game, the easier it is to make connections with real life or other stuff and get yourself motivated. Like, why is it so addicting to like cross boxes and make progress that way? I think one of the reasons I think Sudokus and this Picross puzzle is so addicting is because you visually see the progress very clearly. You're making progress. Like a lot of stuff where we don't see progress are not that motivating. Like if you exercise for a long time, you're not noticing a difference, or you're trying really hard to make videos and it's not getting anywhere. But with something like a Sudoku or this Picross, it's like you do one thing and you made progress, and not only that, you made the future boxes you're gonna fill in more easy to fill in. And I think this is part of why it's so satisfying. I also just think I also think it just tickles my perfectionism brain because there's like one solution or only one correct way. And I don't know, it's just like, yes, this is the answer, this is it. And with something like video making or something like, there are many answers, millions of answers, and that's why I don't gel that well motivating myself with finding the right motivation in that category. What else? I've been nearing the end of GTA San Andreas. Okay, where to start? So basically, with the announcement of GTA 6, I got like hyped to go through all the GTA games, or not all, but like the main ones from GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, 4 and 5. Basically, some ones I want to go through. And especially the first three, I have quite a history. These are one of the first games I played as a kid. So playing them again right now is quite nostalgic. And I didn't understand English when I first played them, so it's very interesting to know what they're saying. And it's also funny because I'm like, wow, I played this as like a 7-year-old. Wow, wasn't I too young for that? But anyway, so yeah, so I've been reaching the end of that. So I soon will start playing GTA 4, which is not a game from my childhood. I did play it a bit quite a while ago, but I never finished it, unlike the others, which I did finish as a child. So we're getting into new territory, which I think will be fun to, or interesting to see how it will go. I'm kind of excited about it, about GTA 4 and GTA 5, because I haven't really experienced those games fully. So, but this is the time to do it. A funny thing is, I actually did the same thing when Elden Ring was gonna come out soon. Then I committed myself to finish all the Dark Souls games. Which is also interesting because I tried Dark Souls games several times, but I never got myself into them. But once I framed it like, okay, I'm gonna finish these all before Elden Ring comes out, I actually got through them. And now they're one of my favorite games. So there's that. I played a little bit of Left 4 Dead 2 also this week, and the reason I want to mention this specifically is it's maybe the first game where I understand like the modding scene. In a lot of games with modding, I always see people saying stuff like, "Oh, I've installed hundreds of mods, and oh, I just enjoy modding more than actually playing the game itself." And most of the time, I get people when they share opinions, but this is something I really couldn't wrap my head around. I just couldn't understand wanting to install hundreds of mods and enjoying that more than playing the game itself. Because all I'm thinking is, why? No, no, it's so tedious to find the right mods and they break the game and like I honestly don't like modding that much. Like maybe a couple of mods at most, but hundreds? I cannot fathom why someone would do that. And Left 4 Dead 2 is, I think, the first game where I'm starting to get it. Because you have all those characters and zombies and enemy types, and it's actually quite fun to, like, give them other skins and have, like, other sound effects and UI icons and stuff like that. So yeah, this is but still, 100 is a lot, but I could see myself, like, doing a dozen mods for this game. So yeah, modding community, I'm getting you a bit. And last thing we need to talk about is about this Friday because my company every year has a company dinner for New Year. I skipped last year one because I really don't like these like forced social gatherings. I also really don't like family gatherings because of that reason, because it's like forced and you're like, oh, you have to be there, and then now I am forced to like these people, and I absolutely despise that. But this time was a bit different. I was like, okay, I have to go. I probably won't enjoy it, but I'll accept it. And the reason I had to go and I couldn't skip is because one of the people, the person who invited me, came over to me and was like, I would be really glad if you came, Ruben. And I was like, damn, now I can't say no. So I gave in. And since I had to go, I prepared myself mentally. I was like, okay, it's gonna suck, but just accept it. It's gonna be one day. And it wasn't that bad actually. I mean, I still barely talked. But the thing is, with using Dailyo, you track your mood, and I was ready to have like, oh, this is mad or this is bad. But I never felt like doing that. I was like, yeah, no, I'm feeling okay. And I think that might be because I accepted the situation. I didn't resist it so much as I usually do. Like, I don't want to be here, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna do this. I accept this. I'm not gonna enjoy it as much, but oh well. Just doing that, I actually did enjoy it quite. I mean, not a lot still, but it wasn't suffering, you know. So that's good. That's good. I'm glad I didn't have to put a bad mood into the Daily app, which I talked about last week. So that was week 2 of 2024. Hope you enjoyed and see you next week. Ooh.